Hi BookTube, I am Maria and welcome to my brand new BookTube channel, A Reader Like Maria. It feels a little bit surreal to greet you and welcome you to my BookTube channel because I have heard those very words so many times from the perspective of a BookTube viewer. I have been watching BookTube for a full decade since 2015. And it took 10 years for me to decide to begin my own BookTube channel. So I'm finally here, finally ready, and I come to you first with the BookTube newbie tag, a real classic, as I have learned through my years of BookTube viewing. So I will start off with the very first question. Why did you start this channel? The answer to that is pretty simple. I began this channel for the community. And if you know me in real life, that might be a little bit surprising because I am a doctoral candidate in a literature PhD program. So I am surrounded on a daily basis by individuals who are passionately reading and writing alongside me. But nevertheless, I have found myself craving a community of active and serious readers who are focused on reading for enjoyment as the primary goal of their reading. Instead of simply channeling or automatically channeling that enjoyment toward professional ends of publishing academic articles or presenting at a professional academic conference. So I'm eager to join what Steve Donahue has called the little corner of BookTube. I think there might be a little bit of room for me in there. The second question in the newbie tag is, what fun or unique things can you bring to BookTube? The thing that came to mind in answer to this question include the more obscure books that I tend to read. So for my dissertation, I study a lot of mid-century or mid-20th century American popular fiction. And I really look forward to sharing those books with you. Some of them will be familiar to general readers. For instance, John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath was a very popular book from its publication in the 1930s. But a lot of best-selling works are now virtually unknown to even the most passionate readers today. So one notable example of that phenomenon is the work Forever Amber, which I read last year and which is one of the most captivating reading experiences of my adult life. Forever Amber, as you can see, is quite a tome. It is written by Kathleen Winsor, who at the time of this publication was only 25 years old. This was, I believe, her very first published novel. And it is an historical fiction romp. So much fun to read, so gossipy, so juicy, an absolute delight that I highly recommend and that I greatly enjoyed telling my friends about as I was reading it. So these are the distinctive kinds of books that I hope to bring to my BookTube channel. Question 3 is, what about this new channel most excites you? And I want to reiterate that I am most excited for the community aspect of BookTube. The comments that I might receive, the friendships that I hope to develop over the course of this channel. Question 5, what books or series got you into reading? Oh, and question 4, why do you love reading? So I really had to think about why I love reading. I see these two questions as intertwined. Why do you love reading and what got you into reading? Because reading is so fundamental to my daily existence that I can't imagine myself not being a reader. I can't envision a version of myself that is not consistently reading. I've never found anything like reading that manages so well to both stoke and satisfy my many curiosities. So whether that's a gossipy interest in the lives of fictional characters or historical figures, an interest in historical events or objects or cultural phenomena, an intellectual curiosity about how other writers and thinkers have organized or conceptualized the world we live in. Reading for me is unique in that regard. It feels at this point natural to me to gravitate toward reading to satisfy those curiosities. In terms of the books or series that got me into reading, my parents read to me from a very, very early point in my life, basically from infancy. So growing up as a very young child, I remember a lot of Beatrix Potter, E.B. White, so Stuart Little, The Trumpet of the Swan, Charlotte's Web, Laura Ingalls Wilder, the complete Little House on the Prairie series. But two series that were really the height of my reading pleasure as a child were the Redwall series by Brian Jacques, his wonderful fantasy series starring anthropomorphic animal characters, and the Betsy Tacy series by Maud Hart Lovelace. So these are partially autobiographical novels about a young girl, Betsy, growing up in turn of the 20th century Minnesota in a small town, alongside her best friend, Tacy, and her other best friend, Tib. And each book takes Betsy through a different year or stage of her life, starting when she is 5 years old and concluding when she is in her early to mid-20s and has just gotten married. I've reread these books so many times growing up, and I still think about them very, very often. I'm also going to combine questions 6 and 7. So question 6 asks, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And question 7 asks, what challenges will be the hardest for you to overcome in your channel? Aside from things like consistent uploading, consistent video creation, which I imagine is a challenge for many YouTubers and booktubers, I think the technical aspect of video creation will be distinctly challenging for me because I have never created video content before. So things like determining video quality, storing videos, assessing their size, and editing are unfamiliar to me. So I appreciate your patience as I navigate this new terrain. And so I'd love to ask other booktubers what they're doing behind the scenes, especially those who aren't using like professional equipment. Like, where are you storing your videos? How much editing do you do? What are you filming on? At the moment, I'm filming on a laptop. I'm hoping I can integrate a camera into my video creation at some point. But for now, I'd rather get my channel started sooner than later, so I just went for the easiest option, which is my laptop. Question 8 returns a little bit to my reading origin story. When did you start reading? As I mentioned, I began reading pretty early in my life. I was a voracious reader during my childhood. I was the type of child who, for a week-long trip with my parents, would bring a very large stack of books to read in the back seat of the car. Many more books than I could possibly fit in during the length of that short trip, but still, I was ambitious and I was voracious. I got a little bit more lukewarm about reading for pleasure during high school and college, but I've regained that love for reading in adulthood, in part through working at a public library a little bit after college, and through BookTube, seeing other active readers on my screen day in and day out has moved me to reclaim my own love of reading. And it's been a wonderful journey. Question 9 asks, where do you read? And more answers came to me than I expected when I first read this question. Of course, I read at home. I have a couple chairs in my living room that have a lot of windows, a lot of natural light, very cozy and homey. I read in bed occasionally or in my office on my university campus. There's a large park near my home with plenty of benches and grassy hills that are perfect for a little afternoon reading. I'll also read in coffee shops on occasion, but coffee shops can be such busy places that usually after 45 minutes an hour if I'm lucky, there is just too much ambient noise around me. My attention starts waning. And so to continue my reading, I usually find that I have to migrate to a quieter place to remain immersed in my book. I also love reading in wine bars. That's one of my newest reading locales. I found that if I get to a wine bar a little bit before the evening rush, so late afternoon, then it's very relaxing to have a glass of wine and pull up a book and do some nice reading for an hour, especially if the wine bar has a patio or a rooftop space. And finally, question 10, what kind of books do you like to read? So I would consider myself an omnivorous reader. You'll see a few contemporary books on my channel, pieces of contemporary genre fiction like horror or romance, but primarily on my channel I'll feature fiction from the 20th century. So Forever Amber, great example of the kind of popular work that I want to recover and that I want to share with you on this channel. I also love nonfiction, especially works of literary and historical scholarship. I hope to share with you the pleasures and also the frustrations of reading those books, some of the gems I find, and some of the more jargon-filled or unpleasant works that I might encounter as well. Just to give you a little snippet of the books that I've read recently, a little bit more concrete sense of my reading taste. The books that I have finished most recently over the past week and a half include Willa Cather's novel from 1940, Sapphira and the Slave Girl, the nonfiction book Black Pulp, which is about genre fiction published in African American newspapers during the 20th century, so from roughly 1920 to 1960. Really fascinating nonfiction piece. And then another work of nonfiction called The Business of Bobby Soxers, which was such a fun read. This is about Frank Sinatra fan clubs that begin in the 1940s. And the author is looking at many different archival sources from these Frank Sinatra fans, many of whom were teenage girls. So I think those recent reads give you a good snapshot of the kinds of books that I'm going to share on my channel. My next video might be a little bit of a wrap-up where I'll talk about these books and maybe a few more. So please subscribe if you'd be interested in that content. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments if you would like. And take care, everyone. I'll see you in my next video.